Here we go. We got another radio show to do. I look forward to doing it with you, and I appreciate you listening to the I35 Realty radio show for this week. We got Jamie Green on the board. Really appreciate his help. We got a great guest that's going to come on. It's Chris Coffey from TexStar Inspections. We're going to talk about inspections. So that's what we're up to at the I35 Realty show. And if you need to call us, you reach out to us at 888-559-5217. Or you can email us with any of your questions. Of course, we'll answer the question during the week, but we'll also bring it on the show, radio@i35realty.com. And you can also check us out at i35realty.com. You can also go to the Facebook page, which, of course, Facebook.com/I35Realty, where you can see the jar of shredded money, the infamous jar of shredded money. That'll be there. And you can also check out Al had a great video that he posted, and we got him up there. So there's ways to check us out. And, hey, Jamie, how you doing?
Yes, I'm good, sir. How are you?
You doing okay? Yeah, you're sitting there checking out your texts.
Yeah, I'm getting texts. I'm getting calls. I mean, everything's blowing up.
Well, Jamie, my sister calls me.
Yeah.
And she goes, man, you're great on the show. And I go, well, really? Well, thanks. Well, what do you mean I'm really great on the show? And she goes, well, you're just really great. And I go, okay, you got to qualify that so I can continue that. And she goes, well, you know what? You're not sarcastic and mean on the radio show. And I go, well, that's compliments there.
She's only saying that because you're only going to be that way towards your sister.
Right. So I thought that was interesting. Hey, I also appreciate Sharon and Rahulio listening. They called me and we were talking and they were saying, hey, you did great, but you used some realtor speak, so I need to watch the realtor speak. Yeah, how that goes. And we want to shout out to Mr. Reuter, send Nabar out to help me out on a project. I really appreciate you guys. You can reach out to them. They're a plumber we use out here, and it's 755-6661. I really appreciate Nabar coming out and help me out there. And you know what we need to do? We need to get to our statistics for the week. We're going to look at the new listings, expired listings, the pending contracts, and actually the three multiple listing services. About to use realtor speak. I almost said MLS. Caught myself there. And we're going to look in the Temple Belton, the Greater Fort Hood in the last 30 days, and the Waco in the last 30 days. So let's look at the Temple Belton last 30 days. New listings, they had 302. Expired listings, 34. Pending contracts, 124. Greater Fort Hood in the last 30 days. New listings, 363. Expired listings, 108. And pending contracts, 323. Let's go over to Waco. We got the new listings over there. We got 249. Expired listings, 48. And the pending contracts, 246. And so we got that information out for you. And if you would like to call us and talk about any of those new listings, you need to reach out to us. But let's go on to our guest. We got Chris Coffey from TexStar Inspections. Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Enjoying a wonderful Saturday. About yourself?
Well, I know you're working hard because I invited you into the studios, but you said, hey, Bill, I need to go out and do some home inspections. So we appreciate you coming on and talking to us about home inspections. Again, I use Chris, and he's a great home inspector. Have a lot of respect for him. Hey, Chris, now, let me understand this. You home inspectors, you find your licenses in a Cracker Jack box, don't you?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. No, that's really realtors. That's where realtors get there. That's for my sister. She said I need to be mean and sarcastic, so there's our sarcastic, mean joke there. Yeah. Now, you really don't find your license, and you are a licensed professional by the state of Texas, you don't find it at the bottom of a Cracker Jack box, do you? How do you become an inspector, house inspector?
Well, you definitely have to go through the process, and you have to find out what you need to do with TREC to get start doing all your hours, and you go to school, and if you're working for another inspector, you got to get all your time under your belt with them to make sure that you're getting everything you need to do, and then you got that big, long state and national test that you have to be able to take to get your license.
So, it's not easy. A lot of times people are trusting me because I'm the realtor. I'm the source to the resource. But you guys are trained to do your job. It's just not. It's not just based out of some whim. It's actually based in something. Correct?
That's correct.
What are kind of some of the things that are involved in a home inspection?
I like to tell people, some of my clients, that a home inspection is more of a general physical of the house, and I'm giving it an overview on the day of what it looks like. Going into look at things like the foundation, of course. Of course, here in Texas, we have a lot of clay and expansive soil and stuff like that, and so foundations can have problems sometimes. And so, looking at things like that, because there's other things in the house that give you ideas of what stuff like that can be. If there's any kind of problems that go from there. Of course, going through and checking the roof. Going inside and out, looking at all the walls, visible electrical and plumbing, doing kind of an easy test to make sure that the HVAC seems like it might be doing like it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I like that analogy that you gave. Really, you're the general practitioner,
right.
A doctor of the house. So you're going to roll in there now. You're going to tell people, hey, the AC looks like there's an issue. But you're not going to kind of go, this. You actually call in the specialists after that. We bring them in to discuss that, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And, home buyers oftentimes seem like buying a home is an endless cycle of really critical decisions. And when they bring you in, how do you help a new home buyer or a home buyer in general with their house decision? What does that look like?
I would say that the home inspector is kind of like the last shield between helping them with their investment. Just to make sure that they're not going to be potentially running into something that could be that could fall apart after a little while, or it'd be some big money pit potentially. Anyway, not really saying that yes or no you need to buy this house, but more of a getting them in the know. That's what I like to tell people. I'm here to get you in the know, in a way that you know what's going on with your house.
Right. And I think what you kind of hit on one of my things is, look, Chris and I are not here to make the decision to buy the house. We're here to make sure you're making an informed decision on buying the house. We're not here to tell you, yes, you buy it right now, or no, you need to walk away. In fact, when I'm dealing with my clients, they're in control of the situation. But this is probably the one issue where I say you have to do something, and it is home inspections. Why would a seller, home inspections are just not for a home buyer, but why would someone that is about to list their house do a pre-listing inspection?
Well, if you think about, Bill, you've probably been through plenty of home inspections before, and they come back for your clients. Sometimes things are they're found that could be potentially wrong or broken or damaged or whatever the case may be, and it could cost the people selling the house a considerable amount of money to have to repair it before they can sell it. And I would think that I try to tell people that if they can do that, several weeks or several months out before they try to list their home, and give them an idea of what they're looking at to possibly have to repair. If they got something major they may have to take care of before they could ever consider trying to sell their house. It's just a big positive. And I have inspected houses before, people that were listing them, and found major problems on their houses they were able to, to try to repair before they sold it, or they had to put it on their disclosure and not be able to get as much for their house as they wanted. But it helped out in the process, and they weren't hit with something in a really short option period to try to get repaired.
Right, and we have a lot on the table here. First off, you have an option period in a contract. So if someone buys your house, you got your house listed, you're about to sell your house, they usually ask for a period of time. And I usually, on my contracts, when I'm helping buyers, ask for about 10 days. That way, Chris rolls in, because Chris can't drop everything and run into a radio studio to do a show because he's out doing inspections. Well, the same thing, he has a schedule. So it might be 3 or 4 days for a good guy like Chris can roll out there and see it. Well, then he finds an issue. Then we need to haul in somebody else. So there's a time frame there. A pre-listing inspection can really help people out in that okay, we're trying to move, do all our stuff, and there's this big issue that appears then, and we're in the middle of the, well, we have a lot of problems, don't we, Chris? If that happens there. Yeah, something that I wanted to talk to you about is, and in fact, you did this one for me, what was it, about 2 months ago. A great couple bought a brand new house. Love the builder. Great builder, by the way. But why do we do new construction inspections?
Because every house has its problems. And most of the time when it comes to a new build, it comes to human error, that things that aren't found. And maybe something that's easily repairable, but why should a buyer have to deal with that a couple of weeks after they close, especially on a Saturday if their AC stops working or something like that, or a dishwasher is not working or leaking on the floor. That's something they need to try to know about beforehand. And then sometimes if you dealt with it before, sometimes new construction, there's things that are not hooked up, not wired completely, a whole room without power, and they would never know about that until they moved in and tried to plug in their iPod or something, and they got no juice in there, and then they're stuck waiting to try to get a hold of the builder to come repair it as soon as possible. And I think it just, like I said, it puts them in the know about what their new house is going to be like.
Right. I've heard of tells. Now, the one we had a great builder. There's little things, nothing big. But I've heard tells of ACs not having their ductwork put in. What a lot of that stuff is team built. In other words, the sheetrocker does all the sheetrock and et cetera like that. Well, what happened if someone didn't show up that day on their job? Or, hey, I have a bad day occasionally. What if you had a bad day putting in the windows? Well, you're going to catch that kind of stuff, aren't you?
Absolutely. We'll give it my best shot.
Well, yeah, and you do. Now, you just walk, kind of tell us what you give the client when you do an inspection.
A lot of people like to be there for the inspections. I always try to recommend, at least coming for part of it. That way, if there's anything that needs to be brought up initially, I can really tell them about it right on hand. I usually give them a comprehensive report that puts in there that it puts a definition between what a deficiency is, and I have a whole separate block, including a report summary at the end that shows what things I put as deficiencies. And deficiencies, so everybody knows, is something that inspectors report on according to our standards of practice. And I put pictures of lots of things in there, including deficiencies and then other things too. Something I do, I take pictures of all the appliances in the house, because I have seen in my previous experience that appliances tend to grow arms, legs, and wings and fly away before the house gets sold.
All right.
That's something I try to make sure and give to people so they know all the things that I checked, that's what it looked like on that day that we did it, so they can remember what the appliance looked like in case something were to happen on that kind of way. I just like to make sure that there's plenty of everything to read. It's well understood, and it goes right along in the report. I've always had most of my clients been pretty happy and be able to understand everything.
Yeah, your reports are pretty clear and concise, and you do. Again, I encourage my clients to show up the last 30 minutes. They don't need to follow you around up in the attic, and they could if they wanted to, but it's not something I really suggest. But you do a great job in that last 30 minutes of basically walking them through the deficiencies and going, okay, here's where it's at, and this is the issue, and I really appreciate that.
I like to add also, too, Bill, I really like to try to give people a lot of homeowner maintenance tips, too, like doing things like make sure you change your air filters and walking around looking at your gutters and stuff to make sure they're intact and not draining anywhere, stuff that's going to help them prolong the life of systems in their house that a lot of people may never think about doing. That way they don't run into problems down the road.
Okay, well, I appreciate you showing up on a Saturday, breaking during your work time. Once you give us a plug, let me give you time to plug yourself. Give me your phone number and such.
Okay. Chris Coffey again. It's TexStar Inspections, 254-616-9399.
Hey, Chris, I look forward to hanging out with you at some more inspections. You have a great rest of your Saturday.
You too, Bill. Okay,
bye now. Okay, so we just listened to Chris. He's a great guy. Again, what is a realtor's job? One of his jobs, or their job, being sexist there, is to be a source to a resource, a person that can help you find the answers to your issues. And that's one of the reasons I bring these people on, is so that you can see that when you're contacting I35 Realty, we're going to be able to help you with your issues. Again, you can reach us at 888-559-5217. Or you can give us your questions on radio at i35realty.com. And I'm your Central Texas Realtor, Bill Vernon, and I look forward to helping you out with a lot of this stuff. I'd like to go over some of our new listings. We got a new listings over in Eddy. We want to go look at that one. It's on Hodge Road. It's 3.84 acres. It used to, back in the day, someone that bought a house, bought the land. It used to have a single wide on it. It had a water meter, and it has electric access. It had a septic system on there. So, and it's great location for you. It's not too far from I-35. So that's 3.84 acres in Eddy, and they're asking $31,000 for that place. And let's go look at one of my favorite places right now, because it has an above-ground pool. I don't know about you, Jamie, but isn't this a great time to be swimming?
Matter of fact, my wife just texted me and told me that we're going swimming after I'm done here.
Right, so this is a great time to be buying 113 Rendezvous in Moody. That's a and here I almost did it, Sharon. I almost did it. 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I didn't say 3-2. I said 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And it's on a real large lot. It's on 0.86 of an acre. So you got a pretty big place. We got that Cedar Drive over in Coppers Cove. It's 613 on Cedar Drive. That's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It's 21. We're asking $128 for it. Want to talk about Bel Air. We have the great house in Killeen that has a brand new roof on it, and it's really greatly priced at $79,900, and that's $13,800 on the square footage. It's 711 Bel Air Drive. So you're in the middle of Killeen when you buy that house, and it has a cool shop in the back. That I could see an artisan, or maybe you just got that kit car you like to mess with. It's a great place. Now we have this under contract, but we'll take backup contracts. That's 1410 Avenue F in Moody. That's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1659 2-car garage. They're asking $95 for that one. That's a great house. And many people think real estate agents are all the same. Let me ask you a question, Jamie.
Go ahead.
Can you run to the mailbox?
Right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can.
Yeah,
sure.
You can run to it. Sure. Most people could. Now, let me ask you, does that mean you can run in the Olympics?
No.
No. No. Of course not. That's kind of silly. And you see, just because you can run doesn't mean you could be an Olympian. And just because people have a real estate license doesn't mean that they can get the job done. So, when you go ahead and hire me, and I'll show you that what an Olympian is. And I'm an Olympian compared to most agents. And you know what? My big goal is to get your house sold. So I want to kind of point that out to everybody. And, of course, you can reach me at 888-559-5217.
Now, unless, of course, couch surfing is an Olympic sport, then
Yeah.
I will quite sure I'll get a
do
gold medal
right,
on there.
Right. Okay, there. And we are. And you know what Jamie is good at? Getting these boards done, because I couldn't do it. I really appreciate you showing up. Hey, I want to kind of point something out that's happening in the market in general. And this is this. Millennials are getting squeezed out of buying a home. And I'm taking this off a report that was done on CNN Money by Les Christie. And what they're pointing out is something that I've seen in several articles, and it's this. It's not, and I'm quoting off this article now, it's not that all their fault. Millennials want to buy a home. 90% prefer to own their home than rent, according to recent surveys of Fannie Mae. But student loan debt, tight lending standards, and stiff competition have made it next to impossible for these people to buy their homes. And many millennials simply cannot do the down payments. And another problem they're having, and this is really the crux, their credit isn't good enough because of loan debt ratios. In fact, another report that was done on CNBC by Dinah Olick was showing us that they used to be, this age group could do about 40% of the buying, but right now they're doing 29% of the buying. So a lot of you are kind of going, well, gosh, that's kind of a negative thing to be talking about. But what I want to point out is this. Maybe you need to start thinking about investing in real estate and investing in nice homes, because a lot of these people want to live in a nice home and they can't afford it. They can afford the payments because they got the job, but they don't have the credit. And so, again, we want to point out to you that you're listening to the I-35 Realty Show. That's going to be every Saturday from 1. We start a little after 1, and we run until about 1:30. And you can, of course, talk to us at radio@i35realty.com. I'd love to hear from you guys out there in radio land with your questions, your concerns. Of course, I'd also like to talk to you about buying or investing or listing your house. Any real estate question, reach out to us. Of course, you can also call us at 888-559-5217. That's the one way you can reach out to us. And, next Saturday, I look forward to talking to you more about real estate and why real estate is so important in people's lives, because we all have to have a roof over our head, don't we, Jamie?
Oh, definitely.
We definitely all got to have our roof over our head. And wherever you're at in your real estate needs, whether you're out, maybe most of my listing appointments, we might be 9 months, 8 months, a year out, because we need to get you ready. And so I don't want you to feel like when you're calling me that you have to call me the day of it. It's not that. We're not instantaneous in real estate. In fact, a lot of times I tell people real estate is not the straightest A to B point. It's kind of a wavy line and all over the place. Well, I can hear that music coming up, and I love to talk real estate with people, so reach out to us. Again, this is Bill Vernon, your Central Texas real estate agent. Talk to you next Saturday. Bye now.